Almost 1 year ago, my husband and I were celebrating our 1 year anniversary. We met about, I think it's February in 2013 or so, and I had just moved here from Kansas City, and we got married quick, fast, and in a hurry. We got married in November, and just a little over a month after our 1 year anniversary, on Christmas night, we got our very first positive pregnancy test. And this was after I was worried for various non-related reasons that I wouldn't even be able to have kids. And then we received our first positive pregnancy test on Christmas. It was, the happiest Christmas on record, I believe. And then on February 2nd, again, a little over a month later, I was diagnosed with stage 2B diffuse large B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was about 8 weeks pregnant at the time. We were at St. John's, which just happens to be an institution that really believes, in trying to save both, the mom and the baby, which was a huge blessing for us. I think after they told me exactly what I was diagnosed with, I don't think they ever once mentioned the possibility that we might have to terminate the pregnancy. They just kind of went with, our wishes that, we wanted to do everything we could to have the kid. And just turned out that the oncologist that they hooked me up with was certified through MD Anderson, who had treated more cases like mine of women who are pregnant with, this type of cancer than any other institution in the entire country, which pretty much means in the entire world. And it was just amazing what they were able to do for me. They started me on massive steroid treatments to get me through my first trimester, to get me safely into the second before they started chemo treatments. And at that point in time, I went through 4 rounds of chemo while I was pregnant. And on July 13th, 2 months early, they had to do a C-section to get my baby because the mass was in my chest on top of my lungs, and I was no longer able to breathe. I'd been on oxygen for the entire pregnancy, and she was just so big that no matter how much oxygen I was pumping into my body, I still couldn't breathe very well, and the oxygen was just making me dizzy at that point in time, and she wasn't getting enough oxygen, so they figured it was safer just to bring her 2 months early. And she only had to spend 1 month in the NICU. She got off oxygen before I did because she's a little show-off. And she's been healthier than I've been through the entire process. It's been just amazing to watch just how well she's been doing. They have not found a single problem with her. Throughout the chemo and the steroids and all the CT scans and MRIs I had to go through when I was pregnant with her, not a single thing even fazed her a little bit. And after she was born, they gave me about 3 weeks before and after she was born, and then they started up chemo again. I refer to those 6 weeks as my maternity leave from fighting cancer. And so I finished up my last 2 rounds of chemo. I had my very last one on August 24th. And thank you. And they gave me another couple weeks break, and then they did radiation, which they refer to as just mopping up the residual cancer. They were actually kind of expecting, I found out later, they were expecting the chemo to completely take care of it. The cancer, it turns out, although it's a really, really rare form, is also highly treatable. And if I remember right, was it 2/3 of the cancer was taken care of through chemo alone? 80%? So it was like a mass on my chest that was 16 centimeters going from my sternum to halfway up my throat. And through 6 rounds of chemo, 80% of it was gone. And so I actually just now finished up radiation Monday, 2 days ago. So completely done with cancer treatments now. And I go in for my next full body PET scan on December 7th, meeting with my oncologist December 8th to find out if I'm in remission or not. So that's my whole story in a nutshell. So the way I got hooked up with Turn Tulsa Pink, I think it was just a few days after I received my diagnosis. One of my friends that I worked with, Kim I'm going to botch her last name. I think it's pronounced Farian, maybe? Farian? Did I get it right? Yes! Okay. She worked with me at TCC, and I guess her father also had lymphoma, and so she was connected with you guys. And she messaged me on Facebook and was like, you have to get in touch with these people. You have to get in touch with them. So I did, and you guys have just been absolutely amazing throughout all of this. The baby shower you threw us, like, I don't think we've hardly had to buy anything for this kid yet, and she's like 4 months old. Like, I don't think we've even bought diapers yet. And it's just, I don't know what we would have done without that. I wasn't able to work, and just there was all kinds of financial strain, and so just trying to prepare for a kid while you're fighting cancer and going through chemo was just kind of a nightmare, and I don't know what we would have done without you guys. And are we bringing her up here? Show and tell time? So this is her.
Tell us her name.
We named her we named her Karene. We named her after a nebula because we're nerds, and and we were watching a documentary one night and we heard this name of this nebula, and I think it was the only name we've ever agreed on for boy or girl. And so yeah, this is her. This is my husband Daniel, and we're just so thankful for you guys. And I don't know what we would have done without you guys.
Well, thank you for letting us help you.
Thank you for being here.